Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Feece Review. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 movies that inspire me to persevere and work hard, and that could inspire you. So, enjoy. Number 10, Wolf of Wall Street. This movie is about a guy who starts out as a stockbroker in the late 80s, early 90s. His name is Jordan, and it's based on a true story, and he pretty much rips people off through penny stocks and gets really rich. Don't do that. That's what the movie's about, and there's a lot you can learn from it. It's on number 10. It's not the best movie because there's a lot of random scenes that don't really have inspiring messages. They're just comedic scenes. But the reason why it's on the list is because it kind of has that development within the story where he gets more successful, and there are messages that you could learn from in the movie that you could apply into your own ambition. Number 9, Rudy. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but that's a cool movie. It's about this guy who wants to go to Notre Dame, but he is from a small family. He's from a small family that doesn't have a lot of money, and he works really hard. And it's basically the story of developing him, and he really likes football. It's a football movie. It's also, by the way, it's a football movie. But yeah, check that out if you want to get motivated. I really like that movie. Number 8, The Aviator. Now, that is also directed by Martin Scorsese, the same guy who directed Wolf of Wall Street. And it also stars Leonardo DiCaprio, the same guy who, The Aviator is also based on a true story about this guy named Howard Hughes, who wanted to be a filmmaker and develop planes, and he got a huge inheritance from his mother, and he had OCD really badly. They didn't know how to diagnose it at the time, so it shows him that he gets really successful, but I'm not going to ruin it, but basically that's a cool movie about how you can work hard, but it's also a movie about you don't want to be too perfect on everything, because some things are meant to be imperfect. Number 7, The Blind Side. Yeah, The Blind Side. I like that movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It was pretty cute. It was about this guy. Actually, it was kind of inspiring. He was like this high school kid, and he was kind of had nothing at the time. Rich family brings him in and helps him with his schooling and stuff, and that's how it became The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And that's actually a really inspiring movie. I haven't seen that in a long time either, but that's a good movie if you want to learn about studying and education, because there's a lot of that in persevering through hard times. There's a lot of that in the movie. So that's a cool movie, and it's also kind of cool because he comes from a hard part in the past, and he's kind of run from that. And that is a message in the movie that you could probably use in your own life. Oh, this movie is good. Number 6, Straight Out of Compton. And I can't stop watching that movie. That movie is really... Straight Out of Compton is a great movie. It's basically about the band NWA. But it's a great movie about how they overcome, because they were dealing with a lot of oppression at the time from authority figures, and they kind of rose against it because they were segregated. And they basically came out and made songs and stood up for their rights. That's a movie you can learn off of as well, with strategies on how they overcame obstacles. Number 5. Oh, this movie's good. The Theory of Everything. This movie is about Stephen Hawking, and it starts out in the 70s, I think. So there's this movie called The Theory of Everything about our beloved Stephen Hawking. And he starts off in the movie, he's kind of into space and physics and mathematics and all that. So he's studying that, but then something tragic, you probably guess what it is, which is some motor neuron disease. And he gets that, and he has to deal with it. It's really heavy, but he perseveres so well through the movie, and he keeps his head up and he finds ways to persevere. I said that a bunch of times. Persevere. Let's see how many times I can say persevere. And number 4 is The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. Okay, Will Smith is, it's a little slow when it comes to the storyline, but it's heavy. It's really sad too and depressing. But if you force your way to the end, it's kind of heartwarming. And it's basically about a guy who loses everything trying to become a stockbroker. I'm not going to tell you anything, but it's based on a true story. Number 3, 8 Mile. This won, I think, a couple of Oscars, and the soundtrack got an Oscar, and it's semi-based on Marshall Mathers, Eminem's, the rapper, Slim Shady, upbringing in Detroit. It's pretty heavy and intense in some areas, and it's kind of slow in some areas, but it's still really inspiring in the way that you can prove people wrong. Number 2, Good Will Hunting. Also won an Oscar. Written by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. This movie is one of my favorite movies of all time because growing up, I could really relate to the character of Will Hunting and understand kind of his frustrations and anger that he had. He reflects a lot in that movie on himself, and that's good for persevering because you got to reflect on yourself and think, how can I get past this or move on? It's a really emotional movie, but it's pretty funny too at times. Number 1, Rocky by Sylvester Stallone. Now, he was homeless when he made this movie, and he made it multi-million-dollar franchise off of it, but he barely had enough money to feed himself while making this movie. And that's why that's number 1, because this movie's so historically inspiring, and it has a lot of cinematography that you can use for yourself in movies, and it's just gold. Cinema gold. Okay, and that's my top 10. Thank you, and have a great day.